My 45 male, wife, 29 female, just found out she's pregnant. I had a vasectomy 10 years ago. So I had a vasectomy during my first marriage. My ex and I had 3 kids, we were done, and it just made sense. I got married last year after 3 years of dating. My wife has never given me any indication to believe that she is cheating. In fact, she's an extremely loyal, attentive spouse. To top it all off, I work from home. I literally don't know when she would have the time to have an affair unless she was doing it at work. We always have our locations on our iPhones, and I've noticed no secretive or suspicious behavior. When we first found out, she was incredibly shocked, but ultimately very happy, and said, in between tears, that she guessed the vasectomy had failed. I've Googled it. We're looking at about a 1% probability that this happened. So basically, I have 2 choices. Ask my wife for a paternity test and either have my suspicions confirmed and my marriage over, or her trust in me shattered. Or say nothing and live with this gnawing suspicion until our child is born and I can quietly perform a paternity test. I am so torn up about this. My wife is already planning the nursery, and I'm sitting here wondering if I should be hating her or myself. In the comments, Mr. Satcher's friend says, "Call your doctor. They should be able to do a sperm count and tell you if you're even remotely fertile. Wait for those results before confronting her." OP replies, "Yeah, this is absolutely the thing to do. I've been so stressed out and shocked that I haven't been thinking clearly." Altruistic Yellow replies, "Yeah, a doctor can confirm if your body is capable of impregnating anyone. You should check that first. Although if I were in your position, I'm a woman, and my boyfriend has also had a vasectomy and we're looking into reversing, but if I happened to get pregnant, I would probably volunteer a paternity test myself for his peace of mind. I wouldn't be insulted if he wanted one considering the circumstances. Are you sure your wife would get upset?" And OP replies, "She would absolutely be extremely hurt." Parnella says, "She needs to know of your dilemma. If that in itself is a problem, then that's a real problem." And OP replies, "I'm not going to put that kind of stress on her. She is still in her first trimester, and if anything happened to this pregnancy, she would be brokenhearted. Also, perhaps selfishly, I don't want her to look at me differently. I love her, I don't want to hurt her. If the vasectomy really did fail, and I effectively accused her of cheating, our marriage would be severely impacted at a time when our partnership is more important than ever." Well, then it doesn't seem like you have many options besides going through with testing with your doctor and waiting. I think that it would be stupid to be so hasty as to ask for a paternity test right now and damage your relationship when there are other avenues you can try first that won't hurt her and hurt you. So I think you know what your answer is. Not the asshole. And now, onto the update 1 month later. Hello all. A few of you might remember my last post. My wife found out she was pregnant unexpectedly, and I, having had a vasectomy 10 years ago, couldn't get over the suspicion of cheating. I took everyone's advice and got the vasectomy checked. Lo and behold, my doctor tells me my sperm count is very low, but still there are sperm present. It explains why we've been having unprotected sex for years and never had a problem, but also why my wife is now pregnant. I was equal parts relieved and ashamed of myself. My wife is a wonderful person, and she shows me every single day how much I mean to her. And I suspected her of cheating before I suspected an issue with the vasectomy? I have thought about coming clean to my wife and telling her what I did, but on the other hand, she is so happy and excited. She's showing quite a bit now, and everywhere we go, people tell her that she is glowing. Our relationship is the best it's ever been, and I don't think it's right to burst her bubble to alleviate my own guilt. All I can do is be the best husband I can to her through this pregnancy and get ready to be a dad at 46. Thanks to everyone for their suggestions. I just wish I had thought of it myself before jumping to horrible conclusions. I thought I should post an update. And in the comments, D5509 says, "It's perfectly understandable to suspect cheating. You've had a vasectomy for over a decade, and there have been no pregnancies. It's perfectly logical. You shouldn't beat yourself up over it. Most people in your situation would have thought the exact same thing. To your credit, you didn't flip out and accuse her. It seems like she has no idea you suspected cheating, and I don't think that there's a need to come clean if she's happy and you can let go of the guilt. Just know that you didn't do anything wrong coming to that conclusion based on the evidence at hand. You went and got yourself checked. Now you can feel good about the situation. Congratulations and good luck. And OP says, I appreciate that. My kids are all teens and are so excited for the baby as well. It's a truly happy time for my family, and I just want to keep that joy going. Whew, that sounds like an emotional roller coaster. I'm glad it all worked out. Congrats on the new baby. And OP says, thank you very much. We just found out it's a girl. And Dimitri K says, thanks for the update and congratulations. I think it's okay to be honest with your wife about how you felt and that you had to get checked out. Would you get snipped again? And OP says, maybe eventually, but right now I want to focus on us. When we met, I told my wife that kids were off the table. At the time, she was rather ambivalent to having them, so it wasn't a hard condition to accept. But now that she's pregnant though, and I see the joy that it brings her, I'm so happy this happened, and I was able to give her this. That being said, absolutely going to get re-snipped after the baby is born. Great reminder that it's important to get the follow-up check after a vasectomy. I wonder how many of those there are. Dude says he got it done 10 years ago. If I were him, I'd probably also assume everything was fine by that point. I feel like it's logical to, assume everything's fine, because who thinks that it's going to reattach itself like that, especially if it's been 10 years. You'd think it'd happen sooner, but hey, that's life. Glad that it all worked out like this and his spiraling didn't go, too crazy and we get a more crazy story out of it, so thank you OP for having a level-headed head. And thank you for the story. Our next post is by user Wholesome Ario, titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us after he tested me? I, 19 female, live with my roommates. Let's call her Ashley, 20 female, in a small 2-bedroom apartment. We've been friends since high school and decided to split rent when we both started college. Things were fine at first, but then she started dating Jake, 22 male. At first, he was over just a couple of nights a week, which I didn't mind. But over the past few months, he's basically moved in, eating our food, using our stuff, and not contributing a single dime to rent or bills. I finally had enough and told Ashley that Jake either needed to start paying his share or stop practically living here. She apologized and said she would talk to him, and I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward to last week, I was getting ready to head out to a late-night study group when Jake cornered me in the kitchen. He told me he wanted to test me to see if I would be a good person to live with full-time. I was confused and asked what he meant, and he said that if I wanted him to pay rent, I had to prove that I was roommate material by showing I could handle sharing the spaces with someone like him. He then gave me a list of rules that he wanted me to follow if he officially moved in. Things like doing my share of the cooking, even though I already make my own meals, not bringing any guys over, I'm single, but why is that even relevant, and being respectful of his game time by keeping the Wi-Fi free during his streams. I laughed in his face and told him that there was no way that he was moving in. He got pissed and told Ashley that I was being unreasonable. She confronted me and said Jake was just testing the waters, and that I should have been more open to the idea. She accused me of being jealous because I'm single and suggested that I was trying to sabotage their relationship. Now she's saying that if I can't be supportive, then maybe she should get a new roommate, one who respects her relationship. I think this is completely insane, but Ashley and a couple of her friends are siding with Jake. They're calling me selfish and controlling. Am I the asshole for refusing to let him move in after his ridiculous test? In the comments, NoCode3515 says, Not the asshole. Jake's behavior is a major red flag. His test shows controlling tendencies and a lack of respect for boundaries. The apartment is yours and Ashley's. He has no right to set rules or test you. His demands about cooking, visitors, and Wi-Fi usage are completely inappropriate. Your original request was reasonable. Either he pays rent or stops living there rent-free. Most leases have guest policies limiting overnight stays. Ashley is being manipulated here. Jake moved in without permission, uses resources without contributing, and now tries to establish dominance by setting rules in an apartment where he doesn't even pay rent. Stand firm on your boundaries. Document everything. Check your lease about guest policies, and consider talking to your landlord if this continues. Remember, you signed a lease with Ashley, not Jake. His attempt to test you is just a power play to establish control over your shared living space. And OP says, "Thank you for the advice. I will start to document everything from now on. Any other advice I should do as well? If you don't already have one, put a lock on your bedroom door." Gorilla Boy 75 says, "So he thinks he can come in as a third wheel and start making demands and stupid rules? Sounds like he's not the roommate material. Tell Ashley that if he's paying 1/3, that doesn't mean that he gets priority. How dare he make demands when he's an equal partner in expenses, especially for gaming, for crying out loud." And OP says, "Yeah, he gets really emotional when it comes to his gaming time." I'm with you, OP. I think this is completely insane. And if Ashley and her friends are on his side and they know the full truth, they know the full situation, and they're still calling you selfish and controlling, I think those would be low-quality people. Just low quality across the board. No brains. Because anyone with a brain will realize that he is a man-child, that this is ridiculous, and that this is insane. So that leads me to assume that they don't know the full story, that Jake has spun a little fairy tale to everyone, and Ashley is perpetuating it. I just don't get why Ashley confronted you and said that him testing the waters is okay and that you should have been more open to the idea, and that you're jealous because you're single. And you're trying to sabotage their relationship. Sis, I'm not going to be supportive of your little dumpster raccoon. It's just not happening. These people are just being ridiculous, are they not? At this point, do you just cut yourself out of the lease and find somewhere better, away from these absolute crackheads? Not the arsehole, OP. And now, onto the update 2 days later. Hi everyone. It's been a wild ride since my original post, and I wanted to give an update because a lot has happened. First off, I want to thank everyone who commented. It helped me see things in a completely new light. Honestly, I didn't even realize how much I was being gaslit by Jake and Ashley until I read some of your insights. I thought they were my friends, but now I see how manipulative and toxic their behavior really is. Maybe I just hated the thought of not having any friends, but who needs enemies with these kinds of friends? Not gonna lie, it still breaks my heart to realize this, and I cried a lot, but that doesn't change anything. I don't know why I'm saying this, it's just been a really emotional few days. Please forgive my rant. Since our confrontation, Jake has gone full victim mode. He's been telling mutual friends that I'm trying to ruin his life and kick him out of his girlfriend's apartment. Let me remind you, this man doesn't pay rent or contribute to any bills, so calling it his girlfriend's apartment is already laughable. He's been painting me as some controlling, jealous monster who can't handle his straightforward personality. Meanwhile, Ashley is eating it up and defending him, saying I'm overreacting and causing unnecessary drama. What's worse is that I've started noticing just how much control Jake has over Ashley. She has completely bought into his narrative and is now acting like I'm the enemy. For example, she told me last night that my attitude is making it hard for them to feel comfortable in their own home. Their home. This apartment is 50% mine, but suddenly I'm being treated like an unwelcome guest. I've decided I've had enough. I've already documented everything, his constant presence, his freeloading, and now his smear campaign. I'm reaching out to my landlord this week. Most leases have clauses about long-term guests, and Jake has definitely overstayed his. As for Ashley, I don't know if there is any saving our friendship. I'm heartbroken because I thought that she cared about me, but now I realize she's supporting Jake's abusive behavior. Thank you to everyone who opened my eyes to what was really happening. I'll post another update once I've spoken to my landlord and taken further action. For now, I'm just trying to reclaim my space and my peace of mind. Also, I really wanted to thank you for just caring and being there. This is what I needed to hear, and you were all honest and fair with me. I am very grateful for the support that I got that I couldn't get anywhere else. So thank you. In the comments, Lily White says, "Nice that you're standing up for yourself and your right to a peaceful living space." And OP replies, "I realized the night after I posted that I didn't feel safe anymore without a locked door. That was my sign that I really needed to listen to the advice." Curious Josh says, "Good for you on standing up for yourself. FYI, a 22-year-old male should almost be graduating college, not freeloading off of a 19-year-old girlfriend, demanding no one uses internet during his gaming time. This guy is a walking red flag." And OP replies, "And he's not even a good player." I'm joking. I have no idea, but he gets angry all the time and screams at his screen and throws stuff across the room. Crag Hack says, "Good luck. Unfortunately, Jake seems like a good manipulator, so he might have gotten Ashley on board with his narrative. Doesn't mean that she's without guilt, just means that she might have started as a friend, even if she isn't that now. I'd look for your own apartment. As long as they're in your life, your home will unfortunately not be a safe zone. Good luck with everything." And OP replies, "Yes, I think she got blinded by love. I am in no place or mood to judge her. I will probably move out and see if my friendship to her can remain. I don't plan to see Jake anymore." And now, onto the final update, posted 9 days later. Hi everyone. I wanted to come back with a final update now that everything has been resolved. It's been a whirlwind, but I can finally say that I'm in a much better place. And I'm so grateful to everyone who supported me along the way. After my last update, I contacted the landlord and explained the situation. Turns out, Jake had violated the guest policy in our lease by staying over so often. The landlord was understanding and firm. Jake couldn't stay overnight anymore, and if Ashley wanted to add him to the lease, we would need to renegotiate everything, including his share of the rent and utilities. When I shared this with Ashley, she was furious at first. She accused me of trying to sabotage her relationship and even said that I was acting petty, but as the reality of the situation set in, something shifted. I think for the first time she saw how much Jake's presence had disrupted our lives and how much it had hurt me. To my surprise, Ashley apologized. She admitted that she had been blinded by her feelings for Jake and hadn't considered how unfair her actions were. She said she needed to reevaluate things with him and asked for some space to think. Over the next week, Jake stopped coming over. Ashley and I had a long, heartfelt conversation, and for the first time in weeks, it felt like I was talking to my old friend again. She admitted that Jake's controlling behavior wasn't sitting right with her anymore, and that she felt like she had been losing herself trying to please him. And here's the best part. Ashley broke up with Jake. She realized he was manipulative and toxic, not just to me, but to her as well. She thanked me for standing my ground and helping her see the situation clearly. We're still working on rebuilding our friendship, but things feel so much lighter now that he's out of the picture. The apartment is peaceful again, and I've even started redecorating to make the space feel more like home. Ashley and I are taking things one day at a time, but we've both agreed to prioritize communication and respect moving forward. I know not every story ends this way, but I'm so grateful that mine did. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to stand up for myself. It made all the difference. Without you, I would be living in hell right now. P.S. I kept the lock though. And in the comments, Vibecatcher says, "It's wonderful that your friendship with Ashley has been salvaged, and that you're both committed to building a healthier and more respectful living environment. Enjoy your peaceful apartment and redecorated space." And that friendship saved Ashley from a relationship with a dark future. OP took a stand for themselves and didn't go quietly. Glad to hear it all worked out, OP. The trash took itself out and everything worked out so well. I'm very glad to hear that. Let's go. Thank you for the story. Very much appreciate it, and good luck going forward. This one doesn't have an update, but I felt like reading it anyway. Our next post is by user Maya3376, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for snapping at a hotel receptionist after being given the wrong room 3 times? So I was on a trip recently and booked a room at a fairly nice hotel. I specifically paid extra for a room with a king bed and a city view because it was supposed to be a relaxing getaway. When I checked in, they gave me a room with 2 twin beds and a view of the parking lot. I went back to the front desk, politely explained the issue, and they apologized, saying there was a mix-up. They gave me another room key, but when I got to that room, it still wasn't right. This time it was a queen bed with no view at all. I was annoyed, but I kept my cool and went back to the desk again. They apologized again and assured me that the next room would be correct. Spoiler, it wasn't. The third room wasn't even cleaned yet. There were towels on the floor and an unmade bed. At that point, I was exhausted and frustrated. I went back to the front desk and snapped at the receptionist. I didn't yell or swear, but I raised my voice 3 times. The receptionist looked flustered and said that they were doing their best, but I wasn't really in the mood to hear it. They eventually upgraded me to a suite, but when I told a friend about the situation, they say that I overreacted and that it wasn't the receptionist's fault because they don't control room assignments. I feel like I was justified in being upset, but now I'm wondering if I crossed a line. Am I the asshole? In the comments, Lost Needleworker 285 says, receptionists do assign rooms. They probably just overbooked that room type and figured that you would either just accept the first room without complaining or give up after 2 to 3 times and accept one of those. Look, I get that hotels can be hectic, but if they're going to take my money for a specific room, they should ensure it's available. It's frustrating when expectations aren't met. They damn well better either refund my money or upgrade my stay if they don't have what I paid for. Once is an honest mistake, twice is incompetence, thrice, and man, they don't like you. A receptionist assigns rooms. That's part of their job, not the asshole. OP was understandably frustrated after multiple mistakes, and it's part of their job to resolve issues like this. True, having to go back and forth multiple times after a long journey is frustrating and disruptive. It's frustrating when you just want to unwind, but instead, you're dealing with repeated errors. It can really test anyone's patience, especially after traveling, and raising his voice after dealing with this many errors is understandable. He didn't lose his temper, he stood up for himself. Yeah, I agree. I think he did the right thing here. You're not just being a meanie bombini for no reason. They have slighted you multiple times when you did everything correct. They're intentionally messing you around, and they're intentionally not doing their job. What reaction do you expect when this happens? You did everything expected of you, and then they upgraded you to a suite. Your friend has no brain. Your friend is very unaware of how the world works. Maybe your friend has just had good experiences this whole time and, hasn't had to deal with bullshit like this. Or maybe your friend just accepts it and says, how dare you actually stand up for yourself? You're supposed to not have a backbone like me. Or why do you have a spine? Get rid of that thing. Either way, your friend is a bit of a doormat by the sounds of it. I don't think you crossed a line, and I do think you were justified in being upset. Not the asshole. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!